when people see that, not all Christians have the same way of looking at things, that, maybe they'll say, oh, it's not just a hive mind, right?
If we aren't able to kind of engage each other in meaningful dialogue, then we're not really bringing our whole selves to the church in the first place. We're just having nice, polite conversation on the surface. And we want to go a little deeper. We want to go deeper than that. Hey, Mauricio, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
At home. So.
Yeah. Well, Mauricio, really good to have you with us today. I'm excited. You are our kind of going to be our young adult representative in this life group session that we're doing. And we really want to hear from you about issues that are important to you, both in life and faith. And we want to learn about that as a congregation. So excited that you said yes. Thank you for jumping in. Really appreciate that. And so why don't you take a minute, just introduce yourself. Tell us, what are you doing in life? Where are you going to school? What are you learning about?
Hi. So, my name is Mauricio. Right now, I'm basically like a part-time student, full-time worker. I'm working at Target. At the moment, I'm just doing purely online classes just through Metro State, sort of continuing my career in computer science. So my ties for Woodlake is, I guess, that's just where my family goes. I have a history of going to Woodlake for several years now. Lately, it's been kind of hard to, just mostly because of COVID. And now that sometimes I work on weekends and stuff like that. So it's been kind of hard to, connect with the community. But sometimes, if I have time, I look at the live streams that you put on YouTube or just watch like video clips and stuff like that. So
what are things that make you nervous or anxious in the world today?
I think as far as just like recently, it's probably what's going on in Ukraine right now. I was like, made the mistake of looking at some like news stuff last night, and they're like, oh, the Russians invading here, right? Since recently, I've been more invested in politics than ever. This is, not just people on the television talking, right? It's like real world stuff that, has consequences. And as far as like, that's just more like, I think, societal stuff that I'm anxious about. As far as like personal stuff, it would just be kind of like, getting my degree and getting a job and sort of going on with life.
So what would you say, kind of just from your own perspective, what are the biggest issues that young adults such as yourself are facing today?
From my personal experience, it would probably be like mental health. I feel like it's something that people are not as informed as sometimes, or something that isn't talked about as much. Like personally, that's the reason, or, like why I had to like leave school, because, I was having mental health issues, and it was like, oh, it's like this new thing that, I'm experiencing now. And I didn't have that context of this is a common thing that people experience in general, right? Another thing, isolation. And that kind of ties in with the mental health thing, because that's what, a good thing that friends do is that when you're talking to your friends, you're not just stuck in your own head, right? You can bounce ideas off of them, and they can bounce ideas off of you.
And mental health issues are huge problem, all across the country, and during COVID, it's gotten worse, and it's been a huge issue. How do you think the church can help young adults on issues like mental health?
Honestly, like being more willing to listen to young people, in my opinion. I think, especially when it comes to like some social issues, I think the church is still pretty divided. I guess I'm scared to get too political, but I guess I don't know. You don't mind, right?
Go for it. Be yourself.
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm just go full. Okay, let's go. First of all, like my big one is like LGBT issues. Like I personally know people that are LGBT, and sometimes it feels like if you look back historically, like people like scientists, people like Galileo, or people that have threatened the teaching of the church, right? It's always felt like the church has always been that one step behind, what everybody else is onto. Like they eventually accepted, oh, we're not, the center of the universe. And it feels like we're kind of at that now with LGBT issues. But sometimes I feel like we're so much worried about keeping certain traditions alive that we don't consider why we have the traditions in the first place, So for me, it's not just about, I guess when I'm like trying to like look at my faith, it's not about the who and the what, it's more about the how and the why. Like, what are the implications of me believing what I believe, right? Like if I believe that all people deserve to be loved, right? What does that imply, like in my behavior, right? My gripe is that I feel like sometimes people use their like belief in God or to justify things that they want to believe instead of, things that actually like, I mean, like someone, for example, might like take a random quote out of the Bible, right? Just because to them it feels like a good justification for something that they want to believe is true. But if you look at the full implication of, maybe what the Bible says, it might not agree with their way of looking at it. I know that's just my way of thinking. But I'm sorry, I completely blanked out on what the original question was. But
well, the question, that was great. That was great. I was just asking kind of like, what do you think what are the biggest challenges, and specifically like, what are some of the issues that young people are facing, and how that affects the church? I really appreciate what you were saying earlier about how if we believe, for example, that all people deserve to be loved, like, and if we believe our faith tells us that, then what does that look like in our actions? What does it look like in the way we treat one another? Maybe let's talk a little bit about, you've been at Wood Lake for quite a while. What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? What has your experience been like?
Wood Lake it's kind of a nice experience for me because it's basically the first church that I ever attended after basically coming here to the US. So it's kind of like my first experience with like an English speaking church, right? So previously, I think I was attending just like Roman Catholic churches. It's pretty cool, but it was definitely nice seeing this whole new perspective on like Christianity, right? That you get from Lutherans. I feel like Lutherans are about, just like the general idea of like who Martin Luther was, right? He was someone who was not afraid to challenge like the church doctrine of his day and say, hey, I don't think that this is okay, right? Maybe we should reevaluate our values. And I guess maybe this is kind of me going on a tangent, I can kind of sense that, but that's kind of how I feel with like the whole LGBT issue. Maybe we need another Martin Luther in our day, right? But I guess that spirit that, the Lutheran spirit is one of the things that I like about Wood Lake. It's just that it seems very accepting. The community there is super nice. It's always have like a lot of fond memories of just going there. Like after church, they always have like, you have the animal crackers and you have the coffee and the lemonade for the kids, if I remember that. I've always, when I think about like, I think about just the community stuff you guys do. I've been on 2 mission trips. We went one time to Toronto. We did some volunteer work there, and we also went to, I think it was North Carolina. And I remember going on those 2. Those were, not only was it like a really good opportunity to bond with people that I knew from like confirmation and from Sunday school, but it was also a really cool just experience to like visit a different part of the country and be able to like engage in some like volunteering stuff. So, and then just the community and just generally the idea of like Lutheranism, I think is kind of cool. Like being willing to like challenge current church doctrine because of what you believe in, I like that.
Yeah, that's like the history of Lutheranism. That's the heart of Martin Luther. He was kind of a rebel himself,
Yeah.
in his own way. So Mauricio, if you could wave your magic wand today and point it at Wood Lake and maybe change one thing about the church, whatever that would be, what would you change?
I don't know. I like a lot of things about Wood Lake. I think if you guys would be able to like connect through more volunteer work, I think that would, really have that reputation as a church that, you guys put in that extra mile and you're always there to like serve the community. So like, were you able to like engage with like different members of the community, like people, maybe if you had like a Spanish speaking pastor or something like that, right? That would be a super cool thing.
What would make you excited more than anything else about coming to church?
Working for a cause is kind of what I'm thinking of. Like if there's like some sort of cause that's going on, and then, when you go to church, you kind of like, it rallies you up, right? You go in there, like you do your song and dance, and then you do some volunteer stuff after, and you just end up, coming home like, yeah, I did some good in the world today.
I love that your heart and your first response is like, what would make me excited to come to church? Partnering with big things, doing justice in the world, serving our neighbor. That's super cool. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I think the idea of encouraging people to talk about things that they're personally passionate about through like the perspective of Christ, I think that's a pretty good like motivator for people.
If you are out there and watching this right now, if you have a cause and something you're passionate about and want to share that at Wood Lake, let's do it. So Mauricio, thank you so much for joining us today. You're awesome, man. Really appreciate you, and good luck in school and work and everything else.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun being on here. So thanks for having me on.